Well, there is a huge amount of evidence in the published literature that exercise is fundamental for health. It's fundamental for health to maintain health for the primary prevention of diseases. But there is also evidence that if it's important for healthy people to stay healthy, is even more important for people with chronic diseases to prevent the evolution of the disease and the occurrence of disability. There is a huge amount of evidence, I say. I speak about tens of thousands of papers published on the topic. Many of them are on randomized controlled trials. Many of them, there are many meta-analyses. What they conclude? They conclude first, the exercise is effective. Up to a certain point, the benefit of exercise do not depend on the type of exercise itself, but the exercise is important. Third, exercising is safe. You don't need medical clearance to make physical activity. I say that is so safe that there is, as reported in this paper, not a single casualty has been reported after during exercising. You know, of course, we are not speaking about peak performance, but this exercising for health reasons. Okay, so that is so safe that you need medical clearance not to exercise, but not exercising that would be necessary to have medical clearance. Finally, what is the third point, that is exercising is important for many pathological conditions. The exercising pathological conditions with different pathogenesis, they all get benefits. So why conditions so different for pathogenesis? Another issue is that why exercising? Okay, that actually we use always our arms, our trunk in the middle, our head, and there's always a variety of movement that you do with our parts of the body. Why this exercising may be so effective in such different conditions? Possibly because different pathological conditions lead to a common pathway. So disease causes impairment causes functional limitation, inabilities that are typical of humans. For example, walking, for example, speaking, for example, standing from a chair, what you want. Then cause disability. So the difficulty of the subject to interact with the environment. If you have this difficulty to interact with the environment, you develop a sedentary lifestyle. For the sedentary lifestyle, you develop new impairment. So think of, for example, sarcopenia. Think about alteration of joint flexibility, cardiovascular decondition, that worsen functional limitations, that worsen disability, and create an even more serious sedentary lifestyle. Okay, this vicious circle tend to go on and on. From this comes the idea of adaptive physical activity. Adaptive physical activity are programs carried out in group, adapted to what? Not to the disease, but to the chronic condition, the functional status, what is present in the glass, not what is missing, the ability of the subject, and not to the disease, and to the alteration of the functional status. For what? For the tertiary prevention of the disease. The subject already have a disability, we prevent that this disability progresses. Because if you generate, and there is enough evidence in the published literature that if you generate an active lifestyle, you can reduce impairment, reduce functional limitation, reduce disability, and have an even more active lifestyle that leads to a better integration in the community, preservation of vocational pursuits, less need of family and social support, and so on, which lead to a more active lifestyle. An important concept is this: if the entire population would be active, you'll have that the entire health status of the population will move toward the right. You see, everybody exercising, so they move to right. Physical activity is very important as a strategy to improve health of humans. And we know if everybody, none excluded, would be exercising regularly, we would have an improvement of the health status of the population, both of those with very low functional status and for those with very high functional status. But the effect of exercise in the population would not be the same, but will depend for the baseline functional status that you have. In other words, as we know in rehabilitation, if you have a very low functional status, to get a small improvement requires a long time of training. And the same for the people that person that have at the level of peak performance. You know, to get an athlete to improve a bit takes a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of work. But in this intermediate population, to get an effect in a short term, you have huge benefits. So exercise is effective. People know this, read every day on the newspaper. General practitioners are also strongly convinced of the evidence of the. So why people do not exercise? The answer is this: because people with disability do not know where to go. As you can see in this slide. So there is a huge offer that you can have on the market of exercise for people who are healthy, that people that want to make agonistic activity, and people that want to make activity for to maintain their health if they are healthy. Yeah, it's a huge number of gymnasium, sports association, everywhere. You can find a solution there. At least you can run, jog, you can do whatever you like. You can bike and take a mountain bike. But if you have disability, you simply don't know where to go. There is no space for people with Parkinson's disease. There is no space for people who have stroke. There is no people with chronic arthritis. Not people. There is no position. There is nothing on the market. APA is simply this: if filling the market with a new offer. If you want to create a program of exercising for exercise people with chronic disabilities, the only way is to create a program for them, because they already know the effectiveness of the program. And what we have done was just to fill the gap. Not completed. You can see there is some margin that we cannot cover for the people who are very, very low function. Okay, that not meet the criteria. But our effort was to fill the gap as much as possible, that everybody could exercise, none excluded. Another important concept: chronic diseases at the very beginning, in the initial phase, have a different impact on function. So a disease and another disease create a very different effect on function. But when the disease progresses and impact on function, at the end, the consequence will be very similar, irrespective of what the type is the disease is causing it. For example, if a person at a certain point has to stay in a wheelchair, there is no difference between, different conditions, in terms of functional level. When this progression of the disease go down, okay, in the level of functionality of an individual, going down, down, and down, you find the first a mild disability, then a moderate disability, then a catastrophic disability. This vicious circle that I showed before turns faster and faster as you are lower in this situation. So if you are already moderately disabled, it's much easier that you get the catastrophically disabled. You go down along the ladder, okay, and down to a level of catastrophic conditions, because then if you have a better condition, very short and short, in a person, aged person, frail aged person, few days in bed can be catastrophic, while in a young person that is not this way. So this is very important, because the role of APA is to interact for the people with moderate disability to try to reduce the speed of this vicious circle and the progression toward disability of the position. And this intermediate between the level of education that is generally done by the Department of Prevention to educate people to have a better lifestyle and a safer lifestyle, and the care managed programs that you find in people with very severe conditions. We started the program in 2003. At the very beginning, we had 0 classes, and at the end of 2003, we opened the first class. After then, we were surprised how fast and quick we could open classes. To open classes means you have more people that attend the program, because without attendance of participants, the courses cannot be opened, because that is sustained by this participation, by the €2 of the participation per citizen. And so in a few years we open, and we are now at about 190 classes for, over 190 classes for back pain. We have 57 classes in swimming pool. We have about 37 classes for eye disability, Parkinson's, stroke, and any other condition we create a great disability. This is the health authority, number 11, that is based on the collaboration of 15 municipalities. And you can see in all the municipalities we can open classes. We started the APA program in 2003. And we were surprised to see how fast the number of the classes increased. We started from 0 classes in 2003. We arrived at about 290 classes in 2009. Okay. After that, the situation has remained pretty stable. Our number of classes had not increased further. We have classes for back pain here in green, and they are about 200. We have classes for in water, in the swimming pool. There are 57 classes in swimming pools. Then there are classes for high disability, altogether 37 classes. As you can see on the right, it is the representation of the health authority, number 11, that is made of, based on the collaboration of 15 municipalities. And you can see we are present in all the municipalities. Of course, we are stronger, in terms of APA on the urban area than in the rural areas. That is indicated by the broken line. The health authority number 11 has a population of 231,000. 22% of the population is aged over 65. We have, since the beginning, assessed in the coordination center about 16,000 more than 16,500 citizens that have started the program. The number of the regular participants now is about 4,500, but every year, including people that enter in the program and people that leave the program, we can estimate a participation that is over 6,000 people participating in the program. Okay. Among the factors of success, there were some organization principles that had been taken and accepted by a deliberation of Tuscany region in 2009. In this deliberation, the regional government has been decided that APA program should be continuous in the year. That means not to, when the citizen was offered IPA, it was offered forever, not for a cycle, for 2 days, for 10 days, for 1 month, for 10 months, but forever. Okay, so imply that the organization has to provide space for everybody that want to stay in exercise regularly. Second point, APA classes were not designed for the diseases, but was designed for the functional status of the participant. What is stated clearly in this deliberation, that the APA programs are function-oriented and not disease-oriented. This is very important because it means that you may have persons with different pathological conditions can work together, can exercise together. Another important point is that you have diseases for with high prevalence, or diseases for low prevalence. Okay, for some diseases to put together, to exercise 12 people or 20 people is very easy because it has high prevalence. But the problem is people with conditions that have low prevalence. Where do they go? They cannot practice alone. They'll be economically unsustainable. So the only way is to put them together. Third, should be, it's not a service provided by the health authority. It's not like, health care that is given by a health authority, but it's simply coordinated and controlled by us. But we are not, the gymnasium are not of the health authority. So we control and coordinate this like we coordinate other activities for health. For example, we coordinate all the activities to guarantee the quality of the food. We guarantee the quality of, for example, of the fish sold in the health authority, but we are not selling fish. And on the other hand, and this is a very important point, people who sell fish sell a lot of omega-3, but not the pharmacist. Although sell substances that are important for our health. And the same, the exercise is important, is useful for our health, but it's not an health profession, it's not an activity of the sanitary health system, but just an activity that we promote, control, but is not an activities of the health authority. He is activated by whom? He's activated by clinicians. But people can, in the sense that it intercepts the advice of the GPs, of the nurses, of the physiotherapists, that you must exercise more, my dear. You have to exercise. How many times similar sentences have been told to patients, the sentence? Many, many times. So it has been activated by the clinicians. That is the intercept, activated. But if a person comes directly and say, well, I want to participate, we don't send them back. We just say, okay, please enter. If you meet the criteria of inclusion or exclusion, to the APA program. But we communicate this to the GP so that he have something that do not agree on the exercise. Actually, never occurred to us that the GP said, this is not for my patient. Clinicians trust the APA programs because they know first that they are safe. They are safe mean that from 2003 to now, we have only five contacts with the emergency room. And only in two cases for accidents which occur during the training session. False. They were both false. All the rest occurred in rooms, environments, stairs that were around the gym, but not inside the gym, but during the exercise. So it's only two. If you think that every year we have at least 400 to 450,000 hours of exercise, that is the global number of hours, the risk of falling, of having troubles during her is very, very low. However, we always thought that was very, very important to maintain safety was to have a clearly defined exercise program. That exercise program should be explicit for many reasons. Some of marketing, quote unquote, some for safety. Because let's start from safety, because if you control the type of exercise, that means that you control safety. Clear exercise programs. This is very important. First, because the safety of the program depends upon the type of exercise, largely. Not only, but largely. Second, because for a marketing reason. People are convinced to come to APA programs usually by their GPs. They start because their doctors say them they have to exercise for their back pain. And you can trust this pill of exercise. If one day is red and the other day is blue. So if you speak with a friend and the friend tells you that you are doing a different exercise of what you are doing and vice versa. So for this reason we made an agreement based on what is published in international literature and what was the opinion of our trainers. We decided to make a program that is pretty unique everywhere, that you could change classes without maintaining the perception of the uniquity, of the similarity of the program. Multiple providers, that is another important point, because a single provider can never cover the entire community. If you have many providers, providers can cover geographically in a very dense way the community. And some providers are very strong in some municipalities, some providers are more strong in other municipalities. Inside the same municipality there could be 2 or 3, 4, 5, 10 different providers that can help us with the interest to offer some collaboration in different time of the day, some in the morning, some in the evening, some in the night. So this was the problem. We say yes to everybody. The important was to accept the rules of the program. And this allows us to, with 37 organizations, 74 gyms, 9 swimming pools, to cover in a capillary way the entire territory of the community. Now the present home gymnasium distance, the medium of gymnasium distance, is 1.2 kilometers. So it is, say, 3/4 of a mile to go to. So it is walking distance to get to the gym. Another important aspect was low cost. We discussed with the association what was the association, the private gymnasium, what was the minimum price that they could accept. And we defined that the minimum cost would be about the cost of a cappuccino and a brioche. That is the traditional Italian breakfast. With this we started. And since we are using off time, okay, it turned out to be relevant, this quota also for the association, for the profit organization to do that, and was affordable for the citizens. Of course, that is very important, especially in this period, that the cost must be completely covered by the APA participants and not by the health service. Similar concept has been applied in the rest of Tuscany, okay, in the 12 health authority of Tuscany. As you can see here, the number of the participants and the number of APA classes has increased steadily from 2008 to 2011, and is also increased the number of the classes with high disability, not also those with the low disability. We have now about 20,000 participants, and and about 1,300 classes scattered in Tuscany. We have about 300 150 providers that works in about 500 different gymnasium or swimming pools. And the APA program is present in 75% of the municipalities of Tuscany. And as you can see, this is the different health authority. You can see there is a tendency to increase in nearly all health authorities. Finally, what was very important was the collaboration of many stakeholders. Among the stakeholders we received a very strong support from the University of Florence, also in collaboration in the collaboration for the preparation of physical activity trainers. As you spoke before with Velio Vascellari from the Istituto Superiore di Sanità for Rome, and also for the National Institute of Health, with which we had the pleasure to collaborate within the 2003 Memorandum of Understanding between Italy and USA on biomedical research. But we had also other partners, among the other that of the Management and Sanità Laboratory, where Sabina Benvenuti came this morning, from San Benvenuti, and from all the municipalities that helped us to find contacts with their own gymnasium and social clubs. We have support from the Catholic Church, gave us significant space for training, and from other sponsors, including COP, but not for the money they gave to the system, but for the visibility they gave to the system. In particular, with the help points, that it is possible to go to shopping at this kind of supermarket and get points. With the points you can pay your APA classes. APA program has rapidly spread in Italy. You can see this is the situation of Tuscany. On the right, this is Tuscany, and this is the situation of the entire Italy. But the number of red dots, that means areas with the APA classes, is definitely underestimated. We estimated about outside Tuscany at least other 20,000 people are practicing IPA programs using the Empoli model as the base of exercising. This spread is also due to the fact that the Italian government published recently the new guideline, the new document for new guidelines for rehabilitation, providing rehabilitation services, and include APA among the possible levels of assistance, although not covered with the money of the taxpayer.